And welcome everybody. Welcome to the Abundance Dimension free webinar where we're going to be looking into, from the Astral to the Causal, looking into the aspect of what is the Abundance Dimension and going over some certain key points as it relates to different dimensional structures. So we're going to be starting with that firstly. So the first idea is that we're going to look into the dimension that we're most familiar with, the physical dimension. Now this is the most limited dimension there is. There is no other particular dimension that is as slow, as dense as our own physical dimension. But what does that mean? Well, basically, we operate through linear space and time. The aspect of matter within our physical dimension appears solid and dense. Okay, the illusion of separation, that we feel separate from each other, that we're just identifying each other through bodies and giving the illusion that we are separate, that we are disconnected. So no other aspect of dimension or density or plane exists in this manner. The aspect of following the physical dimension in comparison with all of the other dimensions is no more different than looking at a little snail that is just slowly starting to crawl its way down the road, while the other aspects of dimension have runners, like sprinters. They have birds and they're flying up in the air. And so basically they cover a lot more ground. They are able to travel into a greater expanse as it represents reality. And so as long as we keep playing with this physical dimension, sure, it may be fun at particular times, but really all we're really doing is just limiting ourselves. We're looking into the aspect of logic, of analysis. So again, this is part of the modern science equation in that way. That we have to look at physics, that we have to look at physics models, that we have to look at theories, that we have to logicalize and analyze situations. And that is really just completely dull compared to all the other dimensions that exist that we have access to. So when we're playing together with the physical, we identify everything relating to our body. How our body reacts to this. How our body reacts to that. How we have to feed our body. How we have to oxygenate our body. What about gravity on the planet? We got to start worrying about this. How do animals interact with us? How does nature interact with us, etc.? It's all just comparison to this little body with 2 arms, 2 legs, a big-sized head. And that is what we identify our entire life around when we're looking into the physical plane. So it is daftly limiting. It's crazy. It is so crazy about how much focus we put into a plane of existence that is the densest dimension, the densest plane of them all. So let's take a look at the next dimension that exists above this one. And that would represent the astral. And the astral holds a greater likeness to itself. We could understand the astral as being the dream plane. The dimension where dreams take place. But really, all it is that we're moving into a lighter form. We're able to have more malleability as it relates to space, as it relates to time, and as it relates to matter. Matter can certainly exist within the astral plane, but it is much more malleable. It's bendable. You can either solidify it just as hard as a tree log, or you can make it as soft as vapor, right? And it's basically all responsive through one particular thing. And that one particular thing represents that of thought. Okay? The astral domain is the thought matrix. That is what represents itself. Everything is based upon thought. So, if I was to be in the dream plane right now, I'd be standing inside a house, I'm holding my hands out, and I'm just closing my eyes. All of a sudden, I manifest a loaf of bread. Poof, just like that. I didn't have to go through all the scientific equations of the physical plane to determine exactly how that's possible. I just created a loaf of bread. Why? Because it was available within my thought. I knew what a loaf of bread felt like. I know what it tastes like. I know how to see it. All of those particular senses, all of that data is now available. So, creating kind of an awkward loaf of bread there. Just popping it into my hands. And that is the thought dimension. That is what the astral plane is. All of your thoughts come to life. So being able to think of something, whether it be a new car, again, whether it be a loaf of bread, whether it be holograms of people that you know, bringing them together in the astral dimension. And so the astral dimension relates to the idea about how our thoughts, what we are able to understand through the physical plane, we can now manifest into the astral plane. But the astral plane, in that sense, is just that which correlates to thought, which means that there still is some type of sequence of space, time, and matter. We can create environments just like what you see here through this video. My little classroom here. I can create this whiteboard, I can create this wall, I can create this floor, I can create this entire room and duplicate it within the astral realm. I can go backwards in time, I can go forwards in time, I can go to this morning, I can go to this evening, I can go to the next day, I can go to last week, etc., right? So there is a definite malleability as it relates to the space, time, and matter sequence relating to the astral realm, to the astral dimension, because it is all part of thought. So I'm thinking I'll go last week, and it was before I put my beautiful curtains up, right? And then all of a sudden I'll move a week ahead, and all of a sudden there's a gigantic cupboard here, right? So I'll be able to look at non-linear connection. I'll be able to look at this timeline from the beginning of the creation of this room to the end, to where this room becomes destroyed. And I can go here, 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 anywhere in between that aspect. Just like non-linear video editing. And that's cool. Astral dimension is very, very cool. You can play with a lot of things, but it is a thought-mind dimension. It's all about mind. It's all about thought. And saying, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have this big house? Poof, done. Oh, wouldn't it be cool to have this little pet dog running around the front yard? Poof, done, right? Now we are basically moving into this particular type of dimension. A hybridization between the physical and the astral dimension. And that is what we would refer to as fourth density. So fourth density is not the purity of the astral realm, but it holds hybridization to it. And why is that? Simply because when we're existing in third density or fourth density, we're existing with 3 dimensions of space and 2 dimensions of time. Okay? Now the full out astral experience exists with 3 and 3. 3 dimensions of space, 3 dimensions of time. So this is why, again, it's kind of a hybrid between physical and astral, because we are only accessing 2 dimensions of time. What does it mean to have 2 dimensions of time? Basically, if we're moving forward and backward like this, yesterday and tomorrow, then we can also move sideways in time. And basically what that is letting us know is about different dimensions, different realities that can exist. Basically heightened senses of perception, heightened intuitive senses. Being able to know that if I walk this path, here is a complexion about what is coming. Here's something that can lay ahead in that way. So basically you feel that you have a higher degree of precognition. you have a higher degree of premonition, and you're able to walk these paths and communicate with other dimensions that are not quite concurrent with your own timeline, but they're kind of like after effects. They're kind of like fading echoes. And you can bring them into your reality by following that particular path and seeing them manifest. Now, we're already starting to feel this now. This is why in 2016, the being that I channel, known as Adronis, has referred to Earth as being a fourth density compliant planet, which means it's compliant to it. It's compatible with it. It's not quite fully in the fourth density, but it's moving into that compliance. We're crossing a rainbow bridge between third density and fourth density. As we're crossing that rainbow bridge, we have that feeling of premonition. We have these sensations of knowing that where I am right now doesn't fit anymore, and my reality is responding to me, letting me know that this is where I no longer belong. And so I need to adjust myself. I'm following these feelings. I'm following these visions, these precognitions, these premonitions, and I'm moving myself into another dimension of opportunity. So this is primarily what is helping us to connect to a hybridization between the physical and the astral. But in summary, the astral dimension is all about thought. It is all about working together with some type of sequence with space, time, and matter. It's mainly the idea that space, time, and matter will work for you rather than you feel you work for it, right? In the third density, in the physical dimension, this is what we feel. We're in servitude to the aspect of space, time, and matter, but we're not. It's just all part of the illusion. It's part of the frame set, the part of the grid that we have decided to participate in through our own means. Okay? So, in summary, physical dimension, solid, most dense dimension there is. Everything is linear. Everything appears linear. Space, time, matter, solid denseness, the feeling of separation, feeling of being disconnected, identifying everything with the body. Right? So again, that is the limitation. Astral dimension, a lot more flexible, a lot more lighter, being able to have more of the management pertaining to space, time, and matter. Well, what if I was to show you another dimension that's even better than this? And it is something that you can access. Right? So, that is where we move beyond the astral dimension. Not to say it's better, but it basically is much more effective. Rather than playing together with just having more malleability of space, time, and matter, which is fun, but we can go right to the source. And what this source is representing is that of conception, is being able to go into an idea dimension. And we refer to this idea dimension as the causal. Right? Now, the causal dimension is all about the aspect of inception. It is where ideas exist. It is where the aspect to where downloads happen. Downloads do not happen within the astral plane. Downloads exist within the causal. So the point where you're just getting this, inception moment, this great state of conception, this great idea, comes from the causal. The causal can also be referred to as the realm of the Akashic records. The Akashic records exists within the causal dimension. Okay? So when we are basically receiving all this information from the Akashic records, we're getting these downloads. Oh my goodness, now I'm seeing myself in Egypt. Now I'm seeing myself in Peru. Now I'm seeing myself on board a spaceship. In ancient times, I was this extraterrestrial on board a spacecraft. Right? We're receiving all of that from the dimension of the causal that trickles down to the connection of the astral that then connects together with our own physical aspect, to our own physical akasha, or our own physical identity that would represent the akasha. So here's the causal, here's the astral, here's us, the physical. So it trickles down within that particular way. But when you are interacting with the causal, the only thing that matters is an idea, is an inception. You don't have to play out space, time, matter sequence. So, the causal mind would be the highest degree of mind. That's our higher mind aspect as it relates to the causal realm. So basically, the physical would be right here. The astral would be right here. The causal would be right here, right? So we got this tiny little box here that represents the physical dimension. And this incredible amount of, we could refer to it as space or void, that would represent the grid of the astral dimension. So there's the astral grid. And then, we'll just look at it in waves. We have the causal dimension. Now, of course, there are other dimensions that exist beyond the causal, but they don't really need to play a part in regards to what we're talking about today, as it relates to the abundance dimension, right? So, the causal dimension, the Akashic records, really is something incredible. All that matters is your idea. So, what would the idea represent? Well, again, if we're playing with something within the astral, we'll design a house, right? We'll think of something. We'll use our own objective creativity and create a city, right? All out of thought. That's great, that's powerful, right? But basically, we're still unfolding the landscape, right? So we're basically seeing that house coming together. We're starting to see this aspect of landscape being created. And that's still the process of thought. But we need to look into that one instant moment. We need to look at that freeze frame, where the inception to create that house took place, where the inception to create all of this landscape took place. And that freeze frame moment, that one split second within beyond time, represents that of the causal realm, represents that of the abundance dimension. In the abundance dimension, the more time that you spend there, you are able to overwrite everything within the physical and astral realms. Okay? Well, what does that mean? How do I overwrite that which is in the physical realm, for example? Why don't we start with that first? Okay? And I'm teaching this, guys, because this is something I have done. This is something I've been doing for a while, and it works. It works big time. Okay? So, in the physical dimension, let's say, for example, the situation is that we're looking for a job. Okay? And this is just nagging at us. We're behind in the rent, we need to pay bills, our money's low, etc. And we're playing within the physical. We're writing up resumes, and we're just randomly distributing them from place to place to place to place. We may not even know what type of job we want. We just want to have some type of job that will give us a bi-weekly paycheck, and I can start buying food, and I can start buying groceries, and all that stuff. I can start paying rent, etc. So basically, we become completely automated, flowing together in randomness, and disempowered, because we're just playing the physical reality game. We're automated, we're just surrendering ourselves. Yeah, I don't care. I'll just go out and just randomly throw out resumes to all these different employers, jobs that I really don't like, etc. So what we are doing is we are succumbing to the burden of the physical plane. We're just playing this, this is all there is, just this, physical, hard, solid dimension, functioning together in linear space, time, and matter. And I just have to hand out these resumes. Yeah, it's exciting. It's very, very exciting, right? So this represents that of a gigantic container, okay? We put ourselves in a box, and that is existing within physical reality. And that's just the harsh truth as it relates to that. If you play within physical reality like this, you're going to be bored real quickly, right? You're just going to be containing yourself inside a box. It's like unfolding a box and saying, hey, there I am. I'm inside this box. I'm confined to this idea. I don't have any ability to will myself into something different. I have no capability of managing myself, of administrating my own time, of being able to become a creator, right? So, in the astral dimension, we can certainly get an impression about what we would consider to be a good journey, a journey about what it is that we would like to create. Well, here's me here, and I would really just like to teach a class. I would like to teach people. Here there are seated in seats, and I'm giving lectures. I'm talking about law of attraction, whatever it may be, right? That's my thought bubble. Okay? It's what I really, really would like to do, is just be in front of everybody and just start communicating and become very successful with it. Okay? So that's your thought bubble. Okay. And this would represent that of the astral, because you're just seeing yourself inside that particular domain. And that's good. That's great, because that can bring about some strong manifestation quality as well too. Because we're thinking about it, we're bringing it together, but it's more so in the idea of saying, wouldn't it be great if I could do that, right? So what that means is that's giving some degree of potential power, but it's not explosive potential to bringing yourself into that level of abundance and bringing that abundance forward into your reality. So this is the astral thought example. Okay, so we got the physical box container. We got the astral thought thinking, wouldn't this be great? Wouldn't this be a great idea if I was to teach, right? Then we have the third and final concept, which would represent the abundance dimension. And that supplies us with feeling. Feeling is stronger than thought. And that's how the causal plane works, is that we are feeling everything, right? We are using the aspect of feeling what it is to, again, be like a spiritual teacher, be a musician, be a healer, whatever it is that you want to throw in there. But we're creating the feeling of that, okay? So it's no longer looking into the astral dimension where we're thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I had this? Wouldn't it be cool if I did this? Where I'm daydreaming and I'm playing out these scenarios that go beyond the linear space, time, matter. That's cool. That's great. But now we're coming right into the feeling. I am a teacher. I'm already standing in front of everybody. I'm already feeling that this has already happened, right? That is the magic formula to the abundance dimension. It has already happened. This is what you need to convince yourself when playing within the abundance dimension. I'm already a teacher. I'm already a healer. I'm already a musician. And you're building up so much of this energy because you're completely entranced within that feeling, right? The feeling of being a teacher. So the feeling of teaching. The feeling of playing music. The feeling of this, etc. And you're just completely inside that feeling bubble. That's all you're feeling. That's your meditation, right? That's your mantra. I am a teacher. I am a teacher. I am a teacher. And you're basically feeling this so strongly that this now reshapes the Rubik's Cube of your reality. Because what you're basically telling the universe is that I am a teacher. And there is nothing else that is happening other than that idea. So this is the funky Rubik's Cube, and we're shifting it. We're completely shifting our reality because we're going to the source. We're going to the highest aspect as it relates to playing within this type of reality. We're going into the feeling domain. We're going into the Akashic records. We're going right into that aspect where we're playing with this feeling bubble and we are just feeling it. We don't have to think it out and saying, maybe if I do this within the astral plane and then this happens in the astral plane, then this will happen in the physical plane. That's great. That's a long equation, right? Let's shrink it down. Rather than, again, playing with so many thoughts, which, again, can be powerful, but they are a lag. Thoughts are lagging because they're concepts of mind. What we're basically doing here is we're playing with the higher mind. The higher mind is all about feeling, right? So when we start to feel, if I'm just putting my eyes here, just getting myself into a nice, relaxed, comfortable position, I'm closing my eyes, and I'm just feeling what it is to be this teacher. I'm feeling what it is to be this musician. It's beautiful. I've gone right to the source, right? So I've relaxed myself, I've gone into that state, and now the feeling within the causal plane is now taking over, okay? And I've done this several times. I've been able to go into the abundance dimension, to travel to different areas of the world. Been able to go into the abundance dimension to increase the popularity of this business. I've been able to go into the abundance dimension to heal old wounds, right? All of this is possible because we're not playing with the astral and we're not playing with the physical. We are playing with the causal dimension. We are playing with abundance. And so that feeling of abundance all comes from the ability to feel something out, right? So what is the entire process? How do we do this? How do we actually allow this feeling to come together? And what is going to shift regarding the Rubik's Cube of physical reality? So we're moving past that cardboard box of physical reality. We're going past the thought dimension of the astral plane. And all we're basically doing is we are willing the feeling to manifest. That's it. There's no deep, effortful formula here. You have to put so much effort into this. No. This is very, very simple. It all starts with our ability to will it, right? We can look at belief, but belief isn't good enough, right? It's not about the idea of saying that I will believe that I am a teacher. Okay, that is an astral principle. Okay? Belief is thinking that you are. You think that you're a teacher. You think that you're a musician. You think that you're a healer. You think that you're an entrepreneur, right? But you're not really there. You're not owning it. You're not claiming that aspect. So whenever we're playing together with belief, that's an astral aspect. That's playing together with thought. That's not really feeling it. Do you feel that you are this mighty martial artist? Yeah, I believe I am. Mm-mm. That is not an empowerment statement. Right? That is not a certainty. I am the greatest martial arts warrior there is. Ha-cha! Right? That's the difference, right? So when you're playing together with certainty, when you are willing to bring about the certainty of your abundance, this is what changes everything. And very, very quickly as well. It's not to say that this won't bring about changes. You can believe that you're a teacher and you'll certainly get opportunities coming together within your physical reality. But you're not putting the pedal to the metal, right? You have this little car here. Of course, my drawings are fantastic. These little cars, that one's actually not too bad. Little headlights. And if all you're doing is just going the speed limit, right? I'm not being slow. I'm not, Sunday driver. I'm not going 20 miles an hour down a 65 mile an hour highway. But I'm going the speed limit. Not too bad. Okay, you're trucking along. So there's a couple little changes that are taking place within the Rubik's Cube that will start to transition over time. Or you can basically say, there is no speed limit. I'm throwing that sign away. I'm throwing the rule book out the window. And I'm going to put this pedal to the metal, and I'm going to go 1,000 miles an hour down this road because it is completely clear. I won't smash into anybody because I know it's a clear road, right? So now this thing is, going light speed, and that is working with the abundance dimension, right? The abundance dimension is telling you that when you are certain about this feeling, this will shift everywhere. Okay? Everything will start to shift. Like a transformer, just transforming itself directly in front of you. Because you are telling your reality, this is who I am. This is what I'm becoming. Oh, I believe I am. I think I'm this. Universe will be like, okay, yeah, here's a couple little tiles here that are shifting. Great, that's great, you're believing stuff, right? But when you're actually completely contained within that feeling, and you make this feeling your entirety of yourself, and you just feel that this has already happened. I already see myself on top of a stage, speaking to thousands of people. I already see myself playing a musical instrument. I already see myself with a band. It's already happening, right? Now all these tiles are shifting together. So again, that is the power of feeling. Feeling cannot really be described, right? Thought will do its best to try and interpret what the feeling is. Oh, come on, Brad, there's got to be a way to share a feeling with somebody. There is, if you're going through feeling and feeling. But what about thought and feeling? All right, well, can you describe the color red to me? You couldn't, right? It's a color. Yeah, but what is red? Define what red is. Put that together in thought. You can't, right? You can't describe a color. You just know that something is red, right? And that would relate to the aspect of feeling, okay? So I'm seeing the color red right here, right now. I can't use any particular type of thought other than saying, this is red. This is what it is. But I'm blind. You have to describe what the color red is to me. I can't. Exactly. You cannot accurately describe a feeling. It's not possible. All you can ever do is create some type of rough translation, if possible, relating to some type of thought. So again, if it's the feeling of excitement, say, yeah, I'm just feeling excited. I'm feeling joyful. Well, what does it feel to be excited? I don't know. What does it feel like to be joyful? I don't know. It's just a feeling, right? So thought will just use labels. It'll use the label of joy. It'll use the label of excitement. It'll use the label of the color red, right? You have no other definition for it. You just feel this. Well, that's it. That's all you're doing. Whatever it is that you want to bring forward within your reality, feel it. Don't think about it. Don't try to play it out linearly through this physical dimension, because it's going to show up. Well, how exactly does it show up? We'll take a look at that. That we again looked at that old diagram where we saw that the causal was on top of the astral and the astral was on top of the physical, right? So the causal determines everything within this physical reality. It's the idea of the idea matrix, right? It's the aspect of conception. It's the aspect of feeling. So we have feeling, ideas, concepts, etc. Okay? This is the abundance dimension. This is the causal plane. And of course, down here, we have the astral. We have the thought dimension. Okay? And then, of course, down here, we got the tiny little physical dimension. So basically, everything that exists through feeling is up here. It exists completely above that aspect of the astral realm. Everything pertaining to thought exists right here, right? That is the astral. Everything down here represents the physical. The physical is just an interface, okay? It's no more different than looking at a computer screen. Okay? Here's your computer screen, and it's showing little programs, giving some information, right? Where's the source to that energy? Well, it's stemming up from here to here, right? So what happens when we rewrite the aspect of the causal plane as it pertains to us? Well, all of that trickles down, and it comes into the physical plane. It comes from the causal to the astral to the physical dimension, right? So basically, these feelings, once we start to empower them, once we start to say that this is who I am without a shadow of a doubt within my mind, then this is all going to trickle down. You're going to start seeing shifts within your reality. It's not to say that your entire place that you know is going to be gone, right? But all of these windows of opportunities are going to start coming your way. People are going to start manifesting together within your life. You're going to get phone calls. You may start getting some emails. You'll start walking down the street. You'll start bumping into people. You'll start having conversations because you have empowered the feeling matrix, right? Not the thought matrix, which is the astral realm. You're connecting with the feeling matrix. So up here, just beyond the board, you're now connecting with this feeling, right? Or a sort of feelings, right? Quite a few of them. You may have the idea of saying, I wish to become financially abundant. I am going to be financially abundant. I am going to be a successful teacher. I am going to develop my inner psychic abilities, right? All of this is coming together through the state of feeling. Now, there is a requirement on our part, and that requirement represents mindfulness. Okay? We want to be mindful of what it is that is coming into our reality. Because all the feeling dimension that's going to move down to the thought dimension, that's going to move down into the physical dimension, is going to provide you with windows of opportunity. Okay? It's there. If you do not seize that window of opportunity, you'll miss that opportunity, right? So just like this computer monitor here, this is just windows of opportunity, and they're coming your way, right? You may also sense that a feeling that you're attempting to bring through can certainly come to pass if this is taken care of first, right? This is where people come to me and saying, Brad, I've spent so much time meditating. I've wanted to go into deeper spiritual practice. I've wanted to go into a new level of career that will really complement me. But I just feel like I'm getting hit with all these roadblocks, with all these hurdles. These hurdles in the way, and I don't feel I can jump over. What's going on? I'm manifesting these into reality, am I not? You certainly are, but you're still having to take care of certain things within your life. You have to get past these hurdles. You need to jump over these hurdles so that you can allow yourself to come into that clarity of the feeling dimension, right? So we're going to have hurdles that we're going to jump over. These hurdles can be the ideas that I have a problem with money, right? I want to have so much money to come together, so much great financial abundance, but I don't like money. So that happens, right? I want to have a lot of money. I want to bring in some great financial abundance. Do you even like money? No, but I want it anyways. Then that's basically giving you the idea of a conflict hurdle, right? So conflict hurdles are going to come together. They're just aspects of karma, right? You're still playing together with positive and negative karma, and there's not enough positive karma that's now bringing about these opportunities of feelings coming into the physical dimension, right? So we're still saying, yeah, I want to have all this money, but I don't like money. I want to be able to travel the world, but I don't really like traveling. Why would you even ask for that, right? But again, sometimes this happens, right? We just get all these little hurdles, and we're just looking to leap over each one. And as we leap over each one, we start to resolve those hurdles. We start to bring harmony to those aspects of karmic debris within ourselves. Now that abundance dimension can come together completely within us. I've just had to jump through a few hurdles because there are belief systems that I've placed together with myself. Here's one with money. Here's one with love or heartbreak, right? Here's another one with, again, a big house, right? So we just have to look into those aspects of karmic debris that are preventing us from being able to move forward and shifting that Rubik's Cube of reality to allow the abundance dimension in, because it's always going to peak, right? We may have all this clutter of karma within our reality. I don't like money, or I'm having a problem with this relationship, or my career sucks, etc., right? Those are heaps of karmic debris, okay, that we have not been able to resolve. But in the background, here's a passing window. Here's a window that's coming by. Oh, I just didn't notice because my attention was focused on these piles of karma. But the windows are always there. They're saying, hey, here's an opportunity right now that'll help to make all of this become transcended. Oh, yeah, whatever. I'm busy, filing away these karmic documents, and I didn't notice it. So it's always happening. It's always taking place. The universe just may not be able to, again, give you the understanding that this window is coming by because you're focused on the foreground. The universe cannot do something for you. It's only like an infinite genie, right? It's just broadcasting these mirrors about what you're putting out, right? Even again, what you do and what you don't want, and saying that I do want financial abundance. I don't want to be poor. Guess what? They're basically the same thing. You're basically saying you don't want to be poor, but you're focusing on being poor, right? And you're just looking at the aspect of wanting financial abundance, but you're not claiming it for yourself because you're still feeling that you're stuck within this maze of feeling poor, of feeling that you are not valuable. You have no aspect of value to yourself. So we basically have to see this like a type of equation, right? Here is feeling, and here is intention. Okay? And so through feeling, through intention, comes compatibility, which I'll just refer to as comp. Okay? So the compatibility through your intention to feeling, you may really, really want that feeling to come together into your physical reality. But you are not compatible with the intention because your actions speak differently. Right? So I want to heal my body. How have you been doing with your body? How do you like it? Oh, your body's a piece of crap, but I just want it to be good anyways. Do you see how that doesn't compute, right? This happens, right? I get so many people that come to me and say, Brad, I just want to heal my body. I want to feel it all good. All right, well, what are you going through? Oh, I'm going through chronic back problems. I'm going through liver problems. I'm going through kidney problems. Well, don't you even love your body? No, I could care less about it, but I just want it to be healthy anyways. It's not going to happen. It's not going to take place. You're not compatible with the intention to bring about the feeling. Your actions tell a different story, right? This is a formula, right? So it's almost like if we were to look at it in physics formulas or physics mathematics, right? We are only able to have feeling come together through intention if the actions correspond to the compatibility of that intention for the feeling to come together, right? So you could draw up a mathematical formula in that. That's how it works, okay? If you are not the vibration of what it is you want to bring forward through the intention of the feeling that you want to bring through the abundance dimension into yourself, then you're going to have problems, right? You're going to have these hurdles in the way, and you'll feel no matter how fast you run and you jump, your leg just gets caught over the hurdle, and then you're slamming yourself back down to the ground, right? So we want to be mindful of the stacks of karmic papers that we have in our reality that creates a sad face, right? So, I mean, this is it. This is how it works, right? So if we do not have that compatibility of where our actions complement our intention, our actions need to complement our intention. There is no way around that. You cannot ask for something that you are not the vibration of, okay? That's how the feeling dimension, the abundance dimension, the causal dimension works, okay? So you go right very, very deeply into feeling. You go into that. And you know that through my actions that I'm doing right now, I'm compatible through the intention of bringing this feeling together. So it's financial abundance. I'm already seeing it happening. I don't need to go into the astral and paint a bunch of this landscape and all this stuff. It's just a feeling. It doesn't even have to be visual, right? It doesn't have to be something that you're creating out of a thought matrix, right? Because that's what's great about the astral dimension, is that you're painting all these things, you're creating all these things, you're developing this landscape, you're producing and manifesting all of these things at once, which is very cool, right? But in the feeling domain, you don't need to do that. You're just keeping the feeling within your mind. It doesn't matter if you're visual. It doesn't matter if you're clairaudient. It doesn't matter if you're clairsentient, etc. Right? Only thing that matters is that you can remain within that feeling. It's kind of like you're just sitting on the floor and you're just like a very nice, warm, buzzing energy about you. And the feeling is so strong that these tendrils from your aura are bringing about the Rubik's Cube shift of your reality. Because you're sitting there, you're smiling, and this feeling is already there. Everything has already happened. Well, Brad, how does that happen? Well, because everything is now. Everything is here and now. You do not need to create anything because everything's already created. Completely right here, right now. Nothing needs to be created outside of yourself because there is no outside of yourself. This is all from within, right? So as we know that in this infinite now moment, everything is created, all we're basically doing is sorting, right? We're sorting the cubes and creating this new Rubik's Cube that shows these frames of abundance into our life. And we're manifesting it together, right? That's the whole trick to it, right? It's nothing complicated. The only thing that has been complicated is our complication with life, right? If you basically lived a life completely free of any kind of complication, you could manifest everything. Anything is completely able to be sorted together through your mind, through the aspect of the feeling dimension, through the abundance dimension, and bring it together in your life. You could do everything, right? But we have been trained, we have been bred, we have been programmed in feeling that something has to be difficult. Complexity is distortion. Simplicity is purity, right? So it's when you start looking at the simple, you don't have to make everything complicated. Sure, a lot of people like to play around with math and play around with science, and hey, that's cool. You can go for that. But as it relates to working with your own life, the universe has made it more simple for us than anything that we can imagine. It's all just playing with feelings. Brad, I don't know how to feel anymore. I don't know how to feel. I don't... Then you have to learn how to feel, right? You need to go inside your heart space, right? You want to make this luminescent. You want to soften yourself. You want to take it easy on yourself, not bashing yourself to the ground regarding to every single thing that happens. Take it easy. Soften. Care. Bring compassion in. And to a very logical person, if there's a very logical person watching this and saying, well, what the hell do you mean by compassion? That can happen, right? Well, what do I mean by compassion? Everything around you feels warm. Everything around you is an extension of yourself. And as you truly begin to love yourself very, very deeply, that warm, beautiful feeling you have with everything around you now becomes the totality of your reality. You're caring about yourself. You're caring about your extensions. You're caring about everything that exists within reality. And you're exercising that ability to care. And that's what we call compassion, right? So if you're going to be robotic and feel this does not compute human, I am not getting this, you must therefore verify this logically or I will self-destruct. Well, again, we can't really put this in logical terms because this is all about feeling. Let go of the logic, right? So if your logic is all the way up here and your feeling is right about here, well, you got a lot of work to do, right? You need to let go of that feeling of being robotic, of being logical, of being so mechanical with everything, right? Hang around people who are very, very loving, right? Just start to feel again, right? The whole idea is we become robotic is because we feel that we have developed a great deal of apathy within ourselves. We're just looking at everything in regards to, bread and butter, rather than looking at all of the richness of the abundance of food that is around us. Everything's just bread, butter, and water, rather than everything else that you can have here, right? So not looking at reality in such a cold, sterile way, right? And that can be a lot of the scientific method. And the whole truth is that science itself is just another religion. That's all it is. It's the religion of atheism, right? And, a lot of people subscribe to the aspect of science. It's not to say that science is wrong. There certainly is a lot of principle within science that can bring about great transformation within our lives. But again, it's being looked at as being cold, sterile, robotic, and overly logical, right? And that is just tainting everything relating to your life, right? So I don't even know what to put here. I guess I'll just put a box. Being a robot head. But that's it, right? Where we keep going into this logicalization of reality. We look at everything so cold and so bitterly and so apathetically that we are missing all of the color, all of the beauty, all of the enrichment that life can bring us. So really all I can say to that person is that do what you can to bring your love vibration up. You do not have to get rid of logic, but just lower it down, right? This is what brings about everything, right? So, like I said, the causal realm is about feeling. The astral realm is about thought. Then we have the physical realm, which is an interface in a dense way pertaining to these other dimensions, right? So if you really want to go above thought, you need to learn how to feel, right? You need to look into the traumas within your life that have caused you to create so much apathy, right? You could have a very, very logical parent, right? Maybe it's a father, very apathetic, very logical, maybe a scientist himself, and saying, that doesn't make any sense, right? And saying, stop daydreaming and come into logical reality, right? We may have that type of trauma. That's a trauma because as a little kid, we were emotional. We were able to feel. We were able to imagine. We were able to play. I don't care who says otherwise. You as a young child, you all had that. Every single one of you, right? We need to go back into those times. We need to go back and raise the bar as it relates to the love vibrational frequency, to the ability to feel, to have compassion, to care, to love, to have joy within your life. And that's what's making you compatible in being able to play with the abundance dimension, to allow the feeling to come together, where you're imagining everything as it already happens. It's not even imagination, it's just the point of feeling, right? You're allowing imagination to bring feeling to you and saying, I am a successful teacher, I am a successful musician, I am a successful archaeologist, whatever it may be. And again, it may just be to help enhance yourself, to again work with healing, to work with inner psychic abilities. The sky is the limit, right? It is this particular dimension that governs everything. And it's basically funneling itself down through distortion as it relates to this vortex, right? So the vortex ends when there is solidity, right? From here, it's moving more into a liquid form. From here, it's complete vapor, right? But again, that's how it appears to us. From that particular perspective of the causal abundance dimension, that vapor is energy within itself, and it can be something absolutely beautiful, right? But if we do not bring ourselves into the level of being compatible with our own ability to feel, then this is where we're going to have challenges as it relates to being very malleable with life. So physical reality is only the interface that is helping us to understand, to perceive what is happening with us when we tune into those higher levels, right? So we can tune into an astral dimension, right? We can play with that. We do that in sleep quite often, right? And we can tune into this feeling dimension, because through the feeling dimension, through the abundance dimension, we are now able to bring that pure source energy right into us and make it a part of ourselves, right? This eliminates the illusion of separation. This eliminates the illusion of free will, right? Well, what is free will? This is going to be a little bit of a bonus that I'll be talking about here today. Free will has the ability to be transcended. It takes work, but again, I would say simple work. It takes simple work, but it can be done. So, looking into the abundance dimension and free will. Okay? Free will. Okay. What is it that represents will? Will is the aspect of decision. Okay? When we're basically looking at free will, we are free to make any particular choice that will lead us to a decision. Okay? So, to actually allow ourselves to be free holds a different principle, right? So to be free is to basically be inside this bubble. Now, as we have basically complicated our lives so much, inside this bubble, we have fog of confusion. Okay? And so we are free to exist within this bubble of fog because we have complicated things so much. We have put so much effort into making things really, really tough, really hard, really difficult to figure out because we are applying sociological systems, we're providing the education that we have from these societal platforms, and they're all about distortion. They're all about limitation. They're all about traditions. And this is just more fog inside the globe as it relates to free will. So free will is just basically aimlessly wandering around this dimension with all this fog and saying, maybe if I make this choice, I can go this way, right? What's causing the fog to be created here? Confusion. Confusion creates the fog, preventing us from navigating this free territory that we call life, right? So confusion is the essence of the fog. We have the ability to therefore move from free will to divine will. Okay? Now, divine will does not work together with choice. Choice is now surpassed. Brad, are you saying that there's an ability to surpass choice? Yes, because what does it take to make a decision? We have to choose through this foggy, murky globe, right? We're basically having to create a choice because of confusion. Confusion is the very reason itself that you have to make a choice. If there is no confusion, what happens? You follow instinct. Okay? So the ability to decide can be referred to as divine will or instinctive will. Brad, isn't that basically how the animals work? Yes, because the animals aren't as confused as we are, right? They understand their habitat. They understand their connection to nature. They understand their place in the universe, which means much of the animals are far more ahead than we are. That's exactly why they're here on this planet. And they're saying, oh my God, what are these dumbass humans doing? I don't want to be mean, but yeah. Looking at these animals, and they're just looking at us, and what are they doing? What's with all this technology and all this stuff about easy living, and then they feel more miserable, and they have all this convenience, but they're just still miserable. Don't they get it? Instinctive will has that pure clarity within the globe, right? So, when we're using the abundance dimension, we no longer have to use choice. Choice becomes bypassed, right? We're no longer having to use it. I wouldn't even say bypassed, but more so surpassed. We surpass the ability of choice, and it comes into instinct. Just as we know that if we're busy cooking, for example, and we have to pee, right? We're not going to make a choice and saying, should I stay here and pee my pants and just keep cooking, or should I go to the bathroom? You don't really have to do that, right? It's instinctual to go up, to go to the bathroom, and to pee, right? Well, that's basically what we're doing here. We have been able to dissolve the confusion, the karma of reality, and made ourselves into a clearer globe. And now everything that we follow is higher levels of instinct, right? So that is truly the advanced sentience, okay? So the simple sentience really comes from the animal kingdom, right? They have a type of sentience. Let me see if I can draw a type of weird dog here, right? They have a simple sentience to themselves, okay? They're not dumb, right? Just because they're not drawing mathematical formulas on the board or anything like that, or they have to invent things, right? We have hives of bees creating this beautiful hive, or this collection of bees creating this beautiful honeycomb, these hives. That's a structure, right? All of the animals know how to function together in equilibrium. They are able to sense everything happening within nature because they're so tuned in, right? Well, this comes into the idea where there is human sentience. Humans can do a lot more than what animals can do. We just don't know that we can do that. Okay? So we have human sentience. And basically, much in regards to the human sentience is feeling that it's just all about technology. It's not, right? Technology is just a prop. It's something that we've created as a complement to what we have already discovered within ourselves and what we can already do. Everything technology can do, we can do ourselves, right? We have that capability, but we use it as a state of convenience. And we have over-convenienced ourselves as it relates to our ability of human sentience. Human sentience basically works together as pure stewards of the earth, that we're able to do more with the earth than what the animals can. Because the animals cannot create. We can. We can create, right? We can build these things. We can construct things that complement nature, that work together with her, right? And we follow an instinctual path. We're no longer here. We're no longer in free will. We are in divine or instinctive will, okay? You could also refer to this as unified will, because there's no longer any confusion. When you're not confused, you are unified, okay? That's why there are unified planets. There are planets and people on those planets that exist completely like this. They are not confused at all. They know exactly where to go. They know exactly how to behave. They know exactly to go where they are summoned, to where they are called. They don't even question it, right? Think of the idea about how you're breathing in and breathing out right now. You don't need to make a choice to breathe, right? Instinctually, you're expanding and contracting your lungs to breathe, right? Your body is going through all kinds of automated instinctual processes, right? Our ability to walk, we don't have to think and make a choice about putting one foot forward or the other. That's instinct, right? So to live your life together in instinctive, divine, unified will is allowing yourself to have the purest state of the abundance dimension to come into your life, right? Because now you're just completely living together through feeling. And now feeling is allowing yourself to enter a state of beingness, because you'll eventually learn to work with the abundance dimension so that you no longer need anything anymore, right? We're going through all these particular positive boosts of saying, yeah, it feels good to have this kind of money. Yeah, it feels good to have this kind of house. But who cares? I'm done with it, because now I've seen something even more. I am that money. I am that house. I am my neighbors. I am my family. I am my friends. I'm every single being on this planet. I'm every single being within all of creation. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I'm just happy being, right? And that is how we are coming into the state of pure transformation, because now we are becoming a human being, right? That's the key word here, is the human being. Right now, we're the human doing, we're the human having, we're the human wanting, right? And we're the human asking, whatever it may be, right? And those are great. That's great. We can be the human improvers, right? Building things, or the human building, right? But when we're actually here and we're the human being, everything just comes together and you just feel interconnected with everything because you're in the abundance dimension all the time, right? You're even moving past the abundance dimension into these higher planes of light dimensions, right? Moving into just pure light, which is just pure feeling without having to act on it, right? Pure energy, pure heart space. Moving into the soul dimensions, moving into the oversoul dimensions, the angelic dimensions, moving back into divine source altogether. That's where you're accessible. You're moving all past this, right? But of course, that's a discussion for a later time. So in conclusion, the aspect of free will has the ability to be transcended, right? We think that the ultimate state is being able to make choices. No, it's not. Choices are actually more of a burden than anything else, right? You're making a choice because you're confused, because you have all this fog around you, right? So as long as you're functioning together within confusion, choice has to be the catalyst for you to move and navigate yourself within this free territory based upon you finalizing a basis of decision relating to will, right? So when you clean all this up, then you move here. You move into unified, divine, instinctive will, and that becomes your nature. And now you're no longer living for purpose, you're living for nature, right? So I am going to be talking more about unified will, divine will, instinctive will in videos ahead as well too. But again, I wanted to add this little bonus part to the abundance dimension presentation today. So thank you so much everybody for tuning in to this presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to go ahead and move into the question and answer period now. So I'm just going to go to my computer here and just see if we have any questions in the Q&A. Okay, right now we have one here from Jennifer. Jennifer asks, Brad, what do we do as far as the financial factor? Do we just make sure we don't think about money at all? When we begin to manifest, to just dismiss this altogether and allow the universe to bring it without worrying about how it gets here? Thanks. That's a good question, Jennifer, and thank you so much for that. So basically, if we are working on the financial sector, okay? Because a lot of people have asked me about this as well too, and saying, well, what if the financial system changes? What about this new financial system that's coming online? Do I have to do anything, etc., right? What is the key to harmonizing together with the aspect of finances? Anytime that you're putting some type of concern as it relates to money, then you'll always find yourself in lack, okay? So if I'm basically saying to you that let yourself go of concern and all of that aspect of money, that financial abundance will come to you in any form it chooses or any form that you therefore dictate, okay? So basically in that sense, we're saying, what is it that we have to do? Do we just have to let go of money? It's not even about money. It really just comes down to your point of value. If you do not value yourself, whether it be through money coming through, whether it be through gifts coming through, whether it be some type of exchange that's coming together, if you have no value for yourself, then that's basically what's going to happen, right? It's not about the aspect of financial money. It's not about the idea of currency. It's the idea that you are valuing yourself, everything that you're putting forward through yourself, through your expression, how you want to provide service. You're valuing that, okay? If you don't value that, that's what's going to happen, right? You're basically just going to come into a state of lack because you have a lack of value. And so that is going to play itself out within your reality, right? However, if you start bringing in value to yourself, then it can be something like this, or it can be other means of exchange. So what about this change of the financial system? What do we do? Absolutely nothing. You don't have to do anything. All you're basically maintaining yourself in doing is seeing your value. Because how the universe works, the universe isn't full of lack. I mean, it is, because if you want to create it in that way, you can. But everything's available to you, here and now, right? In the now moment, everything exists. Everything is possible. Okay? So basically, even if there are shakeups happening within our own financial industries, there is still going to be some type of, again, receiving of manifestation that's going to come together. So whether that is a transition into a new financial system, is that that's still, again, the same old money that we're using, it's going to come about. You don't need to concern yourself about that, right? You go with the flow, you just observe exactly how things are transforming, and you just apply yourself to the value that you have and allowing the flow of financial abundance, again, if that's what you want to bring in, to come together within your reality, right? The universe is not going to say to you, okay, well, you've been focusing so much on really positive feelings here about your value. You know what? We're fresh out of everything relating to that exchange. Come back another time, right? It's never going to do that, right? You will always be able to match together the frequency of exchange based upon your value. So, whether that is finances, whether that is currency, whether that is somebody offering you a gift, whether that's you getting a house, getting a boat, getting a car, whatever it is, some particular forms of exchange will come together as it relates to that particular state of value. Let the financial systems change themselves, right? If you're not involved with those particular financial systems, don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything, right? You just let the machines, the gears of those machines run their course. Let them turn, right? You will be able to naturally adjust to whatever particular form of financial value needs to come together on this planet. And you will be able to continue to vibrate in that frequency of great value to yourself. And now you're going to receive the appropriate means of exchange based upon that value in any way that it comes, that you wish, right? So you don't have to change anything. It's no longer about feeling that do we just not have to worry about money if you don't want to, but look at how you're phrasing that sentence, right? Don't worry about money. This phrase doesn't help in the least, okay? It's kind of like me coming up to you and saying, hey, stop thinking about elephants. What are you going to think of? You're going to think of elephants, right? Don't worry about money. I'm thinking about money as soon as you say that. I'm worrying about money as soon as you say that because these two things are here, worry and money. That's how the universe sees it, right? The universe does not see this word. Okay? Don't is useless. No is useless, basically in that particular way. Because the universe is still saying that even when you say, no, I don't want this. Okay? The universe is saying, well, you're still focusing on it. Even when you're saying, no, I don't want that type of person in my life because they're this, they're that, and the other, you're focusing. You're putting all of your energy on top of that person right now. There's going to be more people like that coming into your reality. No is useless, right? So what you're doing is you're substituting no for how about this? Okay? And for how about this, substitution comes together. You substitute that situation for something that serves you, for something that works together. All right, there's this person here who feels very uncomfortable to be around. I get that. Well, thank you so much for showing me that type of person. Now I'm going to attract more people that I know make me feel good. So the universe has done me a favor by bringing aboard a person who's very, very hostile, who's maybe inconsiderate and rude, etc. And okay, I get that that person is there. Thank you so much for showing me the type of people I don't want in my reality. Now I can focus through substitution and bringing people that I do prefer to have in my reality. The universe has done me a favor. It's helped me purify my connection to light. It's purified my connection to love because I've looked at a shadow version of myself that is not who I am anymore, right? So I'm thanking the universe for showing that. I'm harmonizing with that shadow, and now I'm coming over to the light, right? Shadow law, light law, right? That's basically how we do it. So this is useless. This is useless, right? Whenever we're saying no, 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 we'll do that again just as a matter of instinct, right? Say, no, I don't want that, right? And if you still want to say that in your conversations, that's fine. but not focusing on the point of saying, no, I don't want this person because he's this and he's that and the other thing, and no, I don't want this finance because it's this, that, and the other thing. And you're spilling all of this energy. You're putting all of that chi into that situation. And now it's just going to keep coming together. We understand that you don't want it, but you don't realize that you're still feeding it even when you don't want it, right? So that's where there's the trap, right? So rather than no, how about this? Substitution. Okay? Create a substitution of something that you're knowing, you're looking at, that you know you do not want to have within your reality, and now you're looking this way. And here's a substitution that I can create instead, and I'm going to put all my focus and love and energy in there. I'm going to go into the abundance dimension. I'm going to feel what it is to have these wonderful people within my life. Guess what happens? Bam. It comes together as long as you have no hurdles to jump over, right? So we're not playing with the hurdles again. So that's the important part to remember, okay? Don't worry about saying no. Don't worry about saying don't worry, right? Because again, don't think of elephants. You'll think of elephants, right? So we want to make sure that we're creating substitution. How about this? Rather than just saying, no, I don't want this, I don't want that. Same thing goes with the whole financial situation, right? Just substitute to where you feel you enjoy being and align to that abundance dimension of feeling and let that manifest within your life. Taking care of the hurdles, if there are any in that way, and now being able to come into a state of unified will. Okay? Thank you so much, Jennifer, for your question. What is the importance of singing, listening to music to raise your vibration? What kind of music? Well, this is all based upon feeling, right? And this is primarily how Adronis would answer it. Music itself is all comprised together of feeling, right? So when we put on a nice song, right, if it's a nice, calm, relaxing song, we feel that everything starts to become at peace with our body. Our blood pressure now starts to lower, our heartbeat now starts to lower at a nice, comfortable level. We're basically feeling our endorphins starting to stimulate and harmonize, right? Everything is just coming together in a beautiful state of being, right? That's what music is. Music has no words to it, and I'm not referring to lyric-based music, of course, but basically when we have that music, that's what's stimulating our feeling centers, right? And again, everybody is different. I can't give you a generic answer. Everybody needs to listen to meditation music. No. You need to listen to music that makes you feel good. This is where something here, and here's a very important thing. Don't always expect an immediate answer to these particular type of questions. Go out and experiment for yourself. Work with your own feelings and know that when you're playing a certain song, this brings you into a positive state. Something that's exciting, something that's joyful, something that's inspirational, something that's loving. Don't worry about getting an immediate answer as it relates to these particular questions. You need to go out, you need to experiment for yourself as it relates to music. But in the best way of what can be shared is that music is just that sound vibrational frequency that links together with our own feelings and our own emotions. Okay, so let the rest of the experimenting be up to you. All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to Joanne here. Joanne says, hi Brad, thank you for clearly explaining how to manifest Eckhart Tolle's 3 modalities of being: acceptance, enjoyment, and enthusiasm. Integrating these principles by using the structured protocol you outline allow the magical synchronicities to flow. Okay, great. I don't follow him, so I don't know what he does. But yeah, I mean, it really all just comes down to different perspective, right? Some others may share this, again, in different ways, but it all just comes back up into the same source, right? And we're just learning how to connect with that same source and sharing perspectives that work for us, as long as all roads lead back to that source and you're walking upon that road. Thank you everybody for tuning in to New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Please feel free to visit our website, newearthteachings.com, private sessions, digital courses, blog, free media, and a lot more. Again, newearthteachings.com. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next video. Take care.